Okay, week 4, question number 7 reads as follows. So what we're dealing with here is a product manufacturer with the following information. So we know that it looks like here there are 3 parts to the chain. So 3 channel members. We're going to have to work our way back to figure out the manufacturer's selling price and consequently their unit margin to be able to calculate break even, contribution, etc., etc. So we've got a few different steps here. I'm going to take you through a few slides to show you to solve the problem. So in slide number 2 here, what we're doing is calculating the contribution margin for the manufacturer, or unit margin, same thing in this case here. So again, we're dealing with 3 channel members. The manufacturer is who we are. So we know that we have a retail selling price of $35 and a retail margin of 45%. So when you take 45% and you multiply it by your $35, you get your unit margin at the retail level of $15.75. Working your way back up, your variable costs for the retailer must be $19.25. We know that the retailer's variable costs are also the guy in line before her. It's her selling price, so $19.25 for the wholesaler. We know that the wholesaler has a margin of 30%. So 30% times 19.25 will give you 570. Gives you 578. I'm going to put 577 because that's what I've got in the solution. Because when you take 70% of 19.25, you get 13.48. So I think that's what most people will have done as a bit of a shortcut there. Okay, so again, I'm not worried about this on the test. I'm not worried about a penny. It doesn't matter. So you take your variable costs for the wholesaler, you flip those over to the selling price for the manufacturer. We sold it to the wholesaler for $13.48, therefore that's the wholesaler's variable cost. Okay. Now we know that we have raw materials and direct labor as our variable cost. So which tally up to $4.25 in total. So when you subtract that, you end up with a unit margin or contribution margin of $9.23. So that answers part A of the question, $9.23. Keep that unit margin in mind. We're going to need it for the following slides. Okay, next part of the question asks us for our break even in units. We know that's our fixed cost divided by our unit margin. In this case, we are given the fact that our fixed costs total $950,000. We just calculated our unit margin in dollars or contribution margin in dollars at $9.23 for a break even in units of 102,925. Break even point in units. Yeah, right, slight mistake there. You would have caught that we can't sell a portion of a unit, so you always round up. My mistake there, should be 102,926. Okay, the next part of the question asks you for your total contribution. So in this case, total contribution is simply your unit contribution or unit margin in dollars multiplied by the units sold. And the case tells you that you've sold this year 220,000 units. So again, you take that 923 in unit margin and you multiply it by 220,000 units to come up with total contribution in this case of $2,030,600. Then you take that total contribution and subtract your fixed cost. So there's my total contribution minus my fixed costs. In this case, were, if you remember, they were $950,000. And what you're left with is profit before tax of $1,080,600.